Good Thursday morning, everyone. Welcome back to Weather on the Go, all your weather coverage. We're tracking Super Typhoon Mawar impacting the western Pacific Ocean after it did move through Guam. And then rounds of thunderstorms with heavy rain and severe weather will be likely across the Great Plains going through the rest of this week. And then major heat is still on track with record high temperatures possible as we go into next week across the middle of the country. But first up is looking at Super Typhoon Mawar across the western Pacific Ocean. This is about as classic as it gets to looking at a typhoon or a hurricane in any part of the world. Look at this perfect eye wall here on the visible satellite imagery this morning. This is a powerful storm system, to say the very least. And as we go over the next couple of days, look at the significant wave heights, already up to over 30-foot waves here across the western Pacific today. And as we go into this weekend, this will grow to over 40-foot waves over the western Pacific Ocean here in spots going into that Saturday, May 27th time frame. So this is a major system. This is not just impacting a small area of the western Pacific. Even if you don't have direct impacts, you definitely still could be seeing some very strong waves crashing ashore as we move in towards that weekend time frame. But back closer to home, yesterday was a busy day across the country. We had 8 reported tornadoes, with most of those across the western high plains, even a tornado or landspout reported across northeastern Nevada, even into southeastern portions of Wyoming, eastern Colorado, and portions of New Mexico. We had 25 wind reports, 36 hail reports, for a total of 69 severe weather reports dating back to Wednesday, May 24th. And here we go again as we go into today. A couple areas we're watching for low-end severe weather, just a marginal risk. That's a level 1 out of 5 on the scale. This is up into western North Dakota, getting into southeastern portions of Montana, and another marginal risk down here from near the Denver area into southeastern Colorado, down into portions of West Texas, western Oklahoma, and eastern New Mexico as we go into today. And then again, the western high plains is lit up with severe weather. A couple areas we're watching is southeastern Montana, getting into northeastern Wyoming. That's a little bit more of an elevated threat for severe storms on Friday, with that slight risk in the yellow. And then also down into eastern New Mexico and the western Texas panhandle on Friday. And then again, the very same areas from the Dakotas, Montana southbound, all the way to the Texas-Mexico border. As we go into Saturday, May 27th, another chance for some stronger thunderstorms. So timing this out, 1 p.m. this afternoon, we do see some storms. A couple of these could become severe across West Texas on up there into western portions of Kansas. Likely not too big of a deal there. We're really watching a scattered coverage of storms going into late this afternoon or early this evening across the majority of the western high plains. So do be on high alert. Damaging winds, large hail, and yes, even a couple of tornadoes will be possible. We'll reload the atmosphere going into Friday, 1 o'clock in the afternoon. We have minimal thunderstorm coverage again, so we're reloading the atmosphere, the heating of the day. And then by the time we get toward the late afternoon, early evening on Friday, we'll start to see more isolated to widely scattered storms. Again, not everybody will see these, but if you do get some storms, they could be severe with more damaging winds, large hail, and a couple of tornadoes on Friday. I am watching for some more significant hail, I think, with southward extent into eastern New Mexico. We could be seeing hailstones over 2 inches in diameter here on Friday evening. And then here we go again on Saturday. We'll reload the atmosphere again, 1 o'clock in the afternoon. A couple of storms here, a couple of storms there. But as we go into Saturday evening, the western high plains will be fair game for strong storms from the Dakotas all the way south into West Texas and probably even northern Mexico, getting into the 7 p.m. time frame on Saturday. With adding up all the rounds of storms through the rest of this week, going all the way through the Sunday morning time frame, we will be seeing some decent rainfall amounts. Make no mistake about it. This is not going to be drought-busting rain, but this will put a significant crack into the drought as we go in toward this weekend, especially if you live into western Kansas, western Oklahoma, more likely into the Oklahoma Panhandle, getting into the Texas Panhandle, and eastern New Mexico. Mexico, especially seeing some decent rains. And zooming this in, western portions there of Kansas, we could be seeing over an inch of rain in many of these areas. Getting down into the Texas Panhandle here toward the Amarillo area, Lubbock and Midland, Texas, those areas could be seeing over 2 inches of rain or more getting through this upcoming weekend. So that is definitely some good news. But if you live east of there toward the I-35 corridor, Dallas, Fort Worth, Tyler, Texas, Houston, it's going to be pretty much bone dry through most of the rest of this week. Much of the activity will be further off to the west. And again, this is going to be helping out in a big way with our drought. We have extreme, exceptional, severe drought, you name it, across the central and southern plains. That will continue for the foreseeable future. However, we will likely put a significant dent into the drought as we go into this upcoming weekend with the incoming rainfall across those regions. Well, again, if you like today's content, be sure to press the thumbs up button down below the video. I definitely appreciate that. And if you are not subscribed to this channel, now is the time to subscribe, especially if you like detailed weather breakdowns each and every morning at 9 a.m. Central Daylight Time. This does include southern Canada, the United States, and the tropics, and it is absolutely free to subscribe to this channel. So I definitely appreciate all the new subscribers and all the returning subscribers watching my videos each and every day as well. I definitely appreciate it. But going through today, looking at the temperature trends, we still have an omega block across the country with a ridge building in between. We have a trough out here to the west and a trough to the east with warm air in the middle of the country. And this is an omega blocking pattern where you have a cooler temperature pattern on either side of the country underneath a trough and a ridge of high pressure across the middle of the country, dominating especially southern Canada and the Great Plains states. But as we go into this weekend, we're going to start to see some changes going into Saturday. This is a different blocking pattern that will start to set up, and this is what we call a Rex block. And this will start to set up as we go even in toward Memorial Day weekend and likely beyond into next week. And what a Rex blocking pattern is where you have a low pressure system or a trough down across the southwestern or southern United States. And then you have a ridge of high pressure building over top of that, whether it's into southern Canada or the north central United States. That will likely occur, especially as we go into the middle of next week, just a week from today. So definitely seeing that pattern start to emerge as we go beyond Memorial Day itself. But as we go through today, we have a backdoor cold front moving from northeast to southwest across the Missouri Valley and parts of the Midwest today. And with that said, temperatures will be a little bit cooler across southeastern Canada. So from Ontario into Quebec, temperatures will be held down into the 50s and 60s today. Very pleasant conditions, to say the least, for this time of year, especially across New England. Getting into the Great Lakes region here, we're going to be seeing a lot of 50s and 60s, and it's going to be warmer across portions of the Great Plains and the lower Mississippi Valley, but not overly warm, just typical for this time of year. Temperatures will be into the low to middle 80s. But as we go into Saturday, this weekend on May 27th, we're going to wash out that cold front as it interacts with that ridge in the middle of the country, and we'll start to see more return flow out of the south and southwest here. Temperatures will get back into the 70s, back up here into Ontario, western Quebec, portions of New England here, the Great Lakes region, and more 80s forming down into the southern United States as we go into Saturday. And then as we go into Monday, Memorial Day, the 80s will be pushing well to the north into Manitoba, Ontario, the Great Lakes, much of the Ohio Valley here, the middle Mississippi Valley will be into the middle and upper 80s, possibly some lower 90s down here into places like the Shreveport area, Lake Charles, getting in toward the Natchez, Mississippi region. Those areas definitely could be seeing some hotter temperatures for your Memorial Day. And then watch as we go into next week, the end of the month on Wednesday, May 31st here, the heat wave is on. We have low to middle 90s likely all across the Mississippi Valley and the Ohio Valley and even parts of the Great Lakes. So definitely get outside and enjoy the cooler temperatures while they last, because it will be heating up to end the month here of May. And that could lead to some record high temperatures, I want to note as well. But even beyond that, as we go into the first full week into June, that Rex blocking pattern will remain parked in place. This is a tough pattern to break. We have a high pressure ridge over top here with the warmer temperatures, possibly some more records up here into the northern plains and upper Midwest region, but more troughs and cooler than normal temperatures will be likely across the desert Southwest and getting into the southern plains all the way through that Wednesday, June 7th time frame. And that's also where the active weather pattern will be. You see all these green anomalies out here across the Rockies, the Intermountain West, and much of the southern United States from Texas to the Carolinas, Florida. Those areas will be seeing above normal precipitation, whereas underneath the ridge of high pressure or that actual Rex block itself, we will be seeing more drier than normal conditions persisting through that first week there into June across the upper Midwest, the Ohio Valley, and the Great Lakes, and also to some extent the New England region as well. And this is concerning for a rapid onset drought risk, especially if you live into southeast Iowa, central Illinois, the Peoria, Illinois region, getting in toward Indianapolis, Cincinnati there into southwestern Ohio. Those will be the zones we'll be keeping a close eye on with a rapid drought developing between now and June 6th, 7th time frame. That is what we'll be keeping an eye on. But even beyond there, the temperature anomalies into the second weekend of June, getting closer to Father's Day weekend time frame. We have that ridge across the eastern two-thirds of the country. More troughs out west. That's where we'll have the cooler temperature anomalies during that June 7th through June 14th time frame. But the pattern will be remaining very persistent through the second weekend of June with a lot of above normal precipitation in the very same areas across the Pacific Northwest, the Central Rockies, down into the central and southern plains and the southeast, with areas up into the upper Midwest seeing some rain, but probably not enough. So we definitely have to be watching out for some developing drought in some areas across the Ohio Valley as we get towards that June 14th time frame. Looking at severe weather trends, early June, it looks like most of the instability will be forming and developing down here into the southern plains and the lower Mississippi Valley. So I think early June, most of the severe weather will still remain parked over the Great Plains from South Dakota, Nebraska, all the way down here towards the Texas coastline area through June 7th. But the instability does show trends of building further north into the middle of June, so we'll have to keep an eye on this if you live up here to the Dakotas, Minnesota, Wisconsin, Iowa, those areas that haven't seen a lot of severe weather this season. We may be seeing more of that potentially getting towards the middle of June and toward that Father's Day weekend time frame, with the trends and the instability trending further to the north. But if you want additional weather forecast updates, in addition to this channel, definitely press the description down below and follow me on Twitter at hweather420. I appreciate that. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching each and every morning. I appreciate it. If you like today's weather video, press the thumbs up button down below. Leave any comments, questions, and concerns below. I'll get to those later on today. Subscribe to the YouTube channel if you're new, and hit the notification bell to get all of my daily weather forecast updates on this channel. Have a great Thursday, everybody. A great rest of your week, and I will see you all in the next video.